left tackle. They've got Nick Zakow in at left guard. And McKivitz is good enough to give it a go out at right tackle. He was really iffy all week. There's a pass caught by Conley and a nice chunk of yards for a first down as Chris gets 13 right through the heart of the defense, coordinated by Aaron Glenn. Yeah, Aaron Glenn, and talking with him, the injuries that we've seen on the offensive side for the San Francisco 49ers, he certainly has experienced on the defensive side this year, and he's not going to change his style of play either. They're going to be aggressive, come after the quarterback, play tight man coverage as often as possible. Here is Devo with a carry out of the backfield, coming off his best game down in Miami. Devo is able to pick up 4. The tackle is made, and 3 nice plays to start the evening offensively for the 49ers. There's his week at the Dolphins with 121 yards from scrimmage.
Yeah, and I think we're going to see a lot of Deebo Samuel tonight, and a lot of along the lines of what we saw from him, you know, when he started playing more as a running back in the backfield because of some of the injuries. They've had those injuries at the running back position, but that's really where he's most effective.
Here's another one. Getting out that little toss around the right side, and Devo's got a first down for San Francisco. Got a good block from Kyle Juszczyk along the way and picked up 9.
Now, this is how they want to use Deebo Samuel. See if they can't get the ball in his hands. Let him be as much of a runner tonight as he is a receiver. Kyle Juszczyk out there on the edge really doing a nice job. Shanahan understands that this is a defense that is hard to run the football against. They've been very stingy when it comes to giving up yards on the ground, and yet he knows in order to protect this offensive line, he's got to be able to stick with the running game.
He's got a first down inside the 15. And right now the 49ers having their way. 18-yard completion to George Kittle.
Well, the play action in the backfield, you're going to see the effect that it has on the Detroit Lions and how it opens up things then in behind. Campbell, he comes up, he's anticipating run, gets lost in coverage, and Kittle, who's had an outstanding year, one of the few bright spots for the San Francisco team, makes a nice catch on the ball.
He's knocking on the door of his 4th career 1,000-yard season. But ends up picking up 4.
I think when he gets this ball, watch Purdy, it looks like he thinks that he's going to get the ball thrown to him. As he's out front, he's looking, and whether or not that was going to be a pass or if he was just simply going to block out in front of him. The offensive linemen, they hold their ground, so they're not getting downfield. But with the ball in the backfield, just unable to do that.
Trickery by the 49ers, giving the Lions some of their own medicine. No team better at that than Detroit. Here's a toss. Fernando left side. Out of bounds at the 5. Kirby Joseph there for Detroit. And a gain of 5. And so 3rd down and 1.
Well, we talked about George Kittle and what kind of year he has had. He's also arguably the best blocking tight end in the game, and you get him out in front along with Juszczyk, and that's a pretty nice pickup. So this opening drive here for San Francisco, it is gone as well as Kyle Shanahan could hope for.
Purdy keeps, gets pushed, won't get it. It's 4th down. And one would assume that the 49ers, who are 6-9, will go ahead and go for it on 4th down, and they will.
Yeah, I think so, and I think also it's easy to say they're out of the playoff contention, what do they have to lose, but I also think that Kyle Shanahan understands what he's up against on the other side of things with Detroit's offense and the way that they are aggressive going for it on 4th down. They're going to have to score some points here tonight.
Behind a makeshift offensive line on 4th down and 1. One, 220. for a first down for San Francisco.
Yeah, and not all 4th and 1s are equal. You know, that was a full yard. I mean, we're not talking a foot. That was a nice job up front, getting some movement, and then Purdy getting it.
49ers trying to do what they haven't done much of this year, get an opening drive touchdown. First and goal. DJ Reader right there in the middle of it for Detroit. And now looks like Juwan Jennings is getting into it with Terrion Arnold. And flags fly at the end of that play, way out of the back of the end zone.
Yeah, away from everything. Juwan Jennings, he's blocking, and he just continues through the whistle and out the back of the end zone. And Terrion, I mean, there they go. Yeah, Kirby Joseph, he comes in and he kind of excites things even more.
And the officials huddling up to try and sort through it. Sean Hockley is our referee tonight.
Sean Hockley is the referee.
Joseph ends up being the third man in. Like we're in hockey, and they're still trying to figure out who's going to be penalized for what happened out of the back of the end zone. Juwan Jennings just did not stop with his block.
Yeah, I think that started a few plays ago as well between those two. Like I said, Detroit plays very physical, a lot of man coverage.
Both teams on the play. After the play was over, personal foul, unnecessary roughness 15 of the offense, personal foul, unnecessary roughness 31 of the defense. These penalties offset, the down counts, it's second down.
Yeah, now on 15, San Francisco starts the action with number 0 Detroit, but then 31 Detroit comes in well after the play and hits 15. If he hadn't done it, we just found San Francisco. So, like it didn't happen. Like it didn't happen. Except for whoever that poor person was down there. That poor soul who got run over in the back of the end zone. Up against that little wall.
That's just another example. Don't tell either of these teams this game doesn't count.
Rolling left, Purdy throws, caught. Short of the end zone. Pearsall.
Well, that's hard to do because he got into the end zone and then he comes back as he catches it when he has control. It's a question, Russ, of when he had control, because initially it sure looked like he had it while he was still in the end zone.
Yeah, Troy, I agree. It looks like he has control with the ball over the goal line or in the end zone. The forward progress pushes it back. To me, that's a touchdown. Challenge flag has been thrown by Kyle Shanahan.
That was a good throw by Brock Purdy as well. That was tight coverage. Ryan Branch in coverage on him, and Purdy just put it right on his chest.
Before the challenge flag was thrown, replay assistants provided information that it is a touchdown. There is no challenge for San Francisco.
What a good drive. As good as they could have hoped for, just worked to perfection. They got that fourth down conversion, and then the touchdown here.
An outstanding drive. You can't talk enough about how difficult it is to put together a game plan when you're not even sure who your offensive line starters are going to be. And I thought Kyle Shanahan, as you would expect, one of the best play callers in all of football, he mixed it up, hit the edges, hit it inside, mixed in the play action passing, and then finished it off there in the red zone. Another area where they have struggled this year. It was an outstanding way to open up this game.
Jake Moody for the extra point. And a 7-0 start. Ricky Pearsall gets his second NFL touchdown. His first since week 10 at Tampa Bay. quickly, again, for the Lions, the division and the #1 seed, and Detroit's never been a #1 seed, comes down to next week with their home date against the Minnesota Vikings. But privately, and to his team, talked to one of his top players today. He said, Dan Campbell said, we are going full throttle. Going to try to get the win tonight, to the surprise of absolutely nobody.
Yes, and it is the message that you would expect. I really feel Dan Campbell reminds me so much of Jimmy Johnson, the guy I played for, a Hall of Fame coach. And, you know, their styles are a little different, but they go about it the same way. And I'm not surprised that Dan Campbell has said that. And that's been the message to this team all week, and that's what they're here to do.
John Kennedy on the return is out to the 35. Return of 28, and here comes Jared Goff, who in many ways is having his best season. Here's what he's done since that 5-interception game, which was a win. By the way, in Houston, he's gone 17 touchdowns, 1 interception, and he's averaging over 330 passing yards a game.
Well, I mean, he's the reason they're where they are and what they've been able to accomplish.
Jameson Williams is met immediately by Isaac Yavin for game 3. Ben Johnson, he will be the hot head coaching candidate this offseason yet again. The second straight year. You see what they're doing, leading the league in points scored. Jahmyr Gibbs is over 1,500 scrimmage yards for the year, has 15 touchdowns, and that combo is really good of Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jameson Williams, 2nd and 7. Here's Gibbs. Runs into Dean Winters. And ends up picking up 6 as we look at Nick Sorensen, Troy, in year #1, coordinating this defense for San Fran.
Yeah, really kind of hard to evaluate the job overall, I think, that Nick Sorensen has done. But when you talk to Kyle Shanahan and ask him, you know, of course, in his first year, he's real pleased with the job that he's done in that in-game, the adjustments that he's made, but, you know, with some of the injuries again. But, you know, let's go back to that opening drive that San Francisco had to come away with that touchdown against this defense. That's a bit of a concern.
Gibbs has got a first down. Gain of 6.
You know, we talk about San Francisco and how beat up they are. Everyone understands the Detroit Lions are as well on the defensive side of the ball. And for that offense to make it look as easy as they did, it's another reason why I'm talking about Jared Goff and how well he's playing and how well he's going to have to continue to play in order for this team to ultimately reach the goals that they have set for themselves.
Gibbs gets it. Goff just able to get it to him, and a big
going
carry
for it.
Gibbs. Isaac Yadam missed the tackle along the way. It's a 21-yard carry by Jahmyr Gibbs, who is just getting better and better and now taking on the bulk of the work with the injury to Montgomery.
Yeah, when you get a wide zone play like this, sometimes a quarterback, if you get it back with the speed that Jahmyr Gibbs has, you see Goff that he's got to extend himself. He almost doesn't even get the handoff out there to him because how fast Gibbs is. Great job up front. And Jahmyr Gibbs coming off the big game last week, he can certainly carry the load.
Jameson Williams looked like he was going to throw it. And ends up losing yardage on the play. Dean Winters got through. And it's a loss of 5.
He's got Shane Zylstra, number 84. He's going to run the post. So, yeah, you were right, Joe. They get the ball to Jameson Williams. This is going to be one of those trick plays. And they've got a chance if he's able to pull up and throw the post across the field. He had a lot of open area to lay that ball for an opportunity. But, you know, because he wasn't able to, he wisely was able to just try to get what he could, which wasn't anything.
After that loss of 5 plays, Craig Reynolds going to catch down the sideline and out of bounds.
Hope it's not holding.
Toss pass complete to Reynolds, forced out of bounds by
There's no
Mustafa.
flag. You got Jared Goff saying that it's on the 49ers.
Illegal contact. Defense number 0.
Yeah.
The penalties decline as will great results in a first down.
And a 26-yard catch and run by Craig Reynolds.
Well, this offense, you get them back up into 2nd and long, and really just doesn't seem to matter that much. That, you know, you tend to look at this offense and think they're all about the play action in the running game, but when they get into long down situations, they're one of the best in the league at converting those into first down. So they're unfazed, even once they get behind the sticks.
Lions bring in extra offensive linemen. They also bring in Jamar Jefferson in at tailback, but they've got Mahogany, who made the start last week, and Dan Skipper in there. And those two guys go in motion and are on the left.
So that's a lot of beef over on their left side of the line.
Jefferson runs behind it and gets down to the 1. A gain of 8. And Skipper, he gets as much of a workout running in and out from the sideline as he does playing offensive line.
He really does. That's a big man. I mean, look at the job that he does. I mean, he's moving bodies right there. That was Leonard Floyd that he gets out of the way. And Jefferson, he's one-on-one on Diamador Lenore. I think if I was running the ball, I would have gone to that left side as well.
Skipper and Mahogany broke over 320. Here's Jefferson. The next play, no surprise, Fred Warner. As good as there is a linebacker in the NFL, a loss of 2.
Yeah, Fred Warner, he dissects things as well as anybody in the game. You keep an eye on him and how he just sees it, and then he knows where his opportunity and his crease is, and he hits it. He's a fun guy to watch.
Gibbs comes back in, 3rd down and goal. Williams gets it, looking for a block.
Idiot, it's a touchdown. Yes.
He pushes up the field, and it allows Williamson to get them on the edge. 49ers had a chance to maybe be able to defense it, but with the push by Laporta up the field, he took out 2 49ers and no one was there.
Extra point is blocked. And now Warner's going to pick it up and try and go downfield, but he gets brought to the ground by Zylstra. Blocked by Jordan Elliott. To the Lions get their 25th rushing touchdown of the year. Jordan Elliott, hand up, blocks the extra point. 49ers up 1. Brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Save when you bundle auto, home, or motorcycle insurance. And Visa. Visa, everywhere you want to be. Levi's Stadium, Santa Clara, California. 11th year this has been the home to the 49ers. 7-6 game. 45 miles south of San Francisco down the 101, and for that Northern California kid, Jared Goff, he got his team right down the field into the end zone, but the extra point is blocked, and it's a 7-6 game. Jameson Williams, his first rushing touchdown of the year. But trailing. As Bates, who leads the league in touchbacks, adds another. Talk about the Lions' defensive injuries, and I'd say that's a pretty long list. As you see up front, including Aiden Hutchinson, he went down, was leading the league in sacks with 7.5. The first 5 games before he broke his leg at Dallas in the middle of October. That lost 3 really good linebackers and then 3 guys on the back end. But here they are, the record of 13-2, and a big date against the Vikings next Sunday night. Play action to Durant, and the flag flies. Brought down with a sack. Indication is it's against Detroit.
Oh, no.
Defense number 69. It's a 5-yard penalty and an automatic first down.
That's Al-Quadin Mohammed, who is guilty of the hold, and instead of a sack and a loss of 3, that moves the ball up to the 35.
Yeah, that's what I thought here, Joe. That George Kittle, he's trying to get out into the route off of the play action. And Al-Quadin Mohammed, he grabs a hold of him, doesn't allow him. It's a nice job by the officials catching that. Because they held him, he was left with nowhere to really go with the football.
Able to secure that toss, and then he gets hit by Jack Campbell. Wow.
You know, we highlighted Fred Warner a minute ago, and Jack Campbell, he basically does the exact same thing, coming back the other way. What a year he has had. He reads it right away, and he hits it. He's always been good against the run. Last year, he struggled a little bit in coverage, but he's been one of the better linebackers in the NFL. He came right up and put a big lick on him.
Yeah, because as we showed you all those injuries, he's been shuffled more inside, and he has really thrived at inside linebacker. Made a play there, 2nd and 9. One tackle, takes it across the 40, 3rd down coming up.
That was Jack Campbell, almost made a play on that one as well. But going back, Joe, to you talk about these injuries that Detroit has had, and Aaron Glenn really having to piece this thing together. You know, over the last 4 games, 2 of those were against the Chicago Bears, and they shut them down. The other 2 games against Green Bay and Buffalo, not so much. Green Bay scored 31 points, Buffalo scores 48, and they know they're going to be facing some good offenses in the NFL, so this is a big test against an offense that
Pearsall caught it. How about a one-handed juggling catch? He secured it going out of bounds. That's such a great job by Brock Purdy. It's a great catch by Pearsall, but Purdy, because he's feeling pressure, he has to let go of this ball long before Pearsall's ever at the top of his route. So he's got to come out of the route and then look for the ball, and it's away from him, and then to be able to make that catch and keep his feet in bounds. That's a great job by both the quarterback and wide receiver. Now here we go. A couple of tackles on his way to a nice run as he gets 11. And this offensive line, Troy, that again has Charlie Heck, who was added from the practice squad of Arizona at left tackle. Nick Zakow, a
second-year player at left guard.
Brendel, Mooney, and McKivitz, they've done a nice job so far.
They've done an outstanding job, and you talk about Charlie Heck. What helped him in terms of getting ready this week when he was brought in is when he was with the Texans, he played for Bobby Slowick. So Bobby Slowick has been in this offense, so a lot of the same terminology.
Here's Kittle wide open. First down inside the 15.
Well, that play action is getting the defense just overflowing. You're going to see what it does. It's everybody running this way, and then Kittle's going to come in behind it. Really good work.
Might be trying to get a free 5 as we're up against the end of the first quarter.
That's the neutral zone infraction penalty.
They blew it dead. They blew it dead. The throw didn't happen as DJ Reader came across.
You got the Lions are pointing at the 49ers. I'm not so sure. I think he was able to draw them off.
Encroachment, defense number 98 before the snap. It's a 5-yard penalty. Replay first down. Please reset the game clock to 6 seconds. Thank you.
Dan Campbell, he cannot believe it. DJ Reader is who they got, and you know, when we visited with Dan Campbell, he was saying it doesn't matter who's playing or not playing, all the things that we've got to get better on is all about focus, attention to detail, effort, and this, I know, is he is not pleased at all right now.
Now take us to end of quarter number 1.
To our Week 18 regular season finale, it's all AFC North. Saturday doubleheader loaded with playoff implications. It's the Browns taking on the Ravens at 4:15 Eastern, followed by the Bengals squaring off against the Steelers at 8. Both games are on ESPN, ABC, and ESPN+.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that matchup, and I know there's going to be a lot of people out there making votes and who's the MVP and all of that. I will just say that no disrespect to anyone in the great years that they've had. If I had a vote, it would go to Joe Burrow. What he has done has been terrific. And that game the other night, he just refused to lose. And this is going to be quite a game next week.
There's the quarterback matchup, and the numbers for Joe Burrow on the left. They had some excruciating losses early, but they've won 4 straight. From 4-8 to 8-8, and at least they have a chance as they take on Russell Wilson and the Steelers on Saturday night. First down and 5. Ball at the 9. Purdy keeps. He's checked. Gets a block. And in for the touchdown.
this first quarter, now start the second quarter. And what Kyle Shanahan has done with misdirection and opening these guys up, whether it's in the running game, the play action game, but it has worked brilliantly here to open up this game.
I think all these great play callers secretly like a challenge. And it's a challenge tonight for Kyle Shanahan with his makeshift offensive line, trying to figure out ways to beat the Lions tonight. So far, so good. Purdy has gone 7 for 7 with 2 touchdowns. He's found 5 different receivers. So about an hour north of here and attended Marin Catholic High School, 3-year starter at Berkeley. And since his time in the NFL, Goff has a 3-7 career record against the 49ers, including the postseason, and has lost 6 straight. He told us that he has secured about 10 tickets for tonight's game for family and friends, but that there would be more than that here with others getting them on their own. He is well supported, he is well loved in his now adopted hometown of Detroit, Michigan. And he has said that that trade from the Rams to the Lions was a blessing, not just for his career, but his development as a human being.
It's been a great story. I'm not sure he thought that when it happened. But boy, he has turned it into a real positive, and the job that he has done, and then really this entire organization, it's been great for all those Lions fans that have suffered for so many years.
Get into some of the specifics of that deal. Meanwhile, there's a flag down on that kickoff.
Illegal formation, number 40 of the receiving team. This penalty is 5 yards from the 30. It's 1st and 10 from the 25.
So Sean Hockey gives these specifics. When the deal was made for Jared Goff, the Rams got Matthew Stafford and won the Super Bowl. Detroit got their quarterback and picks that ultimately landed Jameson Williams, Jahmyr Gibbs, Sam Laporta, and Fatu Melifonwu. Here is Laporta, and he's brought down immediately. A strong tackle by the rookie safety Malik Mustafa, a gain of just 1.
It's one of those really bright young players that missed some time, and now he's back and doing some really good things. And when you watch him, he is such a physical player, and he just fits that whole San Francisco defensive brand that they like to play. And we're going to be talking about him for a lot of years to come.
Gibbs. And he is met by D. Winters, a gain of 5, so third down coming up.
Now, the one thing I would say to Dan Campbell, coming in here and saying we're playing to win and all that, is, Joe, this team had the earliest bye in the NFL, week 5. So they've been playing hard for 12 straight weeks. I mean, this is a tired football team. And they come in here tonight, and they've got a chance to maybe rest a little bit before that big showdown next week. It's the only reason I would look at it maybe a little bit differently.
Goff is able to complete for the first down as he finds Laporta. And a perfectly placed ball from Jared Goff for 6 yards.
And you're going to see the protection up front and how much time he has to just get through his reads. He's looking to the right. Heck, he gets all the way through his third and then his fourth receiver in that progression to get the ball to Laporta. Well, with Jahmyr Gibbs, and we saw the game that he had last week when he carried the load with no David Montgomery, and they've had really a good thing going with those two guys. And before the game last week, I mean, there was just one carry that separated the rushing attempts that Gibbs had and the ones that David Montgomery had, so they had pretty much split those carries up. Now it's primarily Gibbs, but you get labeled in this league, he can run between the tackles.
Here's another example as he cuts back. It's a first down plus. Takes it down inches inside the 40. A carry of 16 yards for Jahmyr Gibbs.
Well, they go big people. They've got Skipper here, and then they got Brock Wright at fullback, and they just hit it right up the gut. Skipper, he overruns D. Winters, but yet Gibbs, because of the movement and the space that was created, and unblocked Winters, he's not even able to make a play. And that's some of the speed and explosiveness that Gibbs has.
Both teams are averaging over 6 yards a play. We have yet to see either defense show up. First down, Detroit. Flag on the play as the corner gets hit hard.
Like it's gonna be a whole destroy.
Beginning of the play.
Holding. Offense number 58.
I'm right.
10-yard penalty, replay, first down.
That's Penei Sewell, as good as it gets at right tackle.
This is a pretty good matchup. This is one-on-one, and it's Nick Bosa. I mean, that's worth the price of admission here tonight. To get a look at that. Penei Sewell's as good a run. That's the hit at the end of that play. That's the big hit you spoke of on Laporta. You hate to continue to harp on it, but in addition to trying to win a football game, I think Dan Campbell's hoping that he can get out of this game without losing a key player as well.
First down at 20, and Goff had to get off his spot, and down he goes. Bosa got it. And Bosa is injured, and he's not alone as D. Winters is down. So we'll take a break. Second and 24 when we come back.
Most people quit their New Year's resolution.
Looks like the players hurt.
ago, Nick Bosa went into the medical tent. We'll show you why and what happened at the end of that play. D. Winters looks like he popped up and he's okay to go. Here's the play that Bosa made.
Yeah, watch Nick Bosa. He's the one who flushes Jared Goff, but this play doesn't illustrate just what type of player Nick Bosa is in a game that he probably even shouldn't be playing and as injured as he is. He gets inside, flushes him, and then comes back and makes the play. Here's the end of that with Bosa and D. Winters. Or excuse me, at the end with Bosa. Winters also got banged up on the play, but this guy has been playing through an oblique injury and then a hip injury as well, and yet he refuses to not play in this game. And it just says all you want to know about the 49ers, the type of players that they bring in, John Lynch, the job that he has done, but that's pretty impressive play by Nick Bosa.
Got hit by his teammate Sam Okuwalo in the 10 now. Here's Gibbs. Gets rid of one tackle. That was Demetrius Flanagan fouls. And picks up 12. Let's go down to Lisa.
Yeah, Joe, head coach Kyle Shanahan said what he has appreciated is exactly what Troy has been talking about. Guys who could shut it down would be perfectly justified in doing so, but they're not shutting it down, choosing to play out these last 2 games of the season. Guys like Nick Bosa and linebacker Fred Warner, who's playing tonight with a broken bone in his ankle. Shanahan said regardless of their record, they're showing the younger guys that the standard doesn't change.
Still down in 12. Goff. Here's a little lateral to Williams, and he's down the sideline.
He's going for a touchdown. Yes.
As Williams has his second run.
And when they run these plays, they work. And Sam Laporta, no one's going to be talking about him, but he's the guy who's out in front and helps kind of seal it enough. And with the speed then of Jameson Williams, they score. Just a perfectly called play, great execution. They work on these things throughout the week. And we've just seen it time after time. When, a lot of teams try them, but when Detroit runs them, they work.
The extra point to make it a one-point game again as the Lions overcome the 2nd and 24. And they get the touchdown. Ben Johnson and his staff, they put these plays in on Wednesday to get the team fired up. Amon-Ra St. Brown with James. Well, it's been a season of successful trick plays. That first lateral I mentioned from Amon-Ra St. Brown to Jahmyr Gibbs. We saw this one in person week 4 against the Seahawks. Everybody touched the ball on offense on this one. Laporta ends up getting the touchdown against the Dallas Cowboys, and then this just happened a moment ago on 3rd down and forever.
Well, Joe, you mentioned that they put him in on Wednesdays, and the team comes in, the offensive players, they get excited, they get the offensive linemen involved, everybody gets fired up, which is great. And Dan Campbell gets especially fired up, but you have to execute and they have to work. So they have worked, and then it encourages them to put more in each week, and it's made it a lot of fun for all these players, for sure.
So, welcome inside the broadcast booth. Joe Buck along with the Hall of Famer and Troy. Both teams are holding serve. We're waiting for one of the two defenses to make a stop here, but it's been a fun, fast start to this game.
Yeah, you know, I would say I like what Kyle Shanahan has done and Brock Purdy and the way they've been able to execute, but I think the story right now in this first half is more about Detroit defensively, and we all know how banged up they've been, but they're going up against a wounded offensive attack, and this offense is going up.
Here's another big play. Ball has yet to hit the ground, by the way. Neither quarterback has thrown an incompletion. Here's a 9-yard completion to Juwan Jennings, and it's been take the ball, get into the end zone.
When we talk to Brock Purdy, he's certainly
successful defenses, successful as a key, but the new tag team champions are ready, and that means
Who got here on December 17th is coming to the lineup for the 49ers along their offensive line. That's Pleasance. This is taken over at left.
That was a spot that Kyle Shanahan was a little concerned about it, that he had to play left tackle.
Pleasance is 6'3", 330. Just I think, as he said to us, a little worried about the feet and being able to stay in front of defenders who are coming after Brock Purdy.
And if Colton McKivitz hadn't been able to play, then they had some real problems on their hands. And Kyle Shanahan said that he's been telling Colton all week long, hey, you're Bosa this week. And I was kind of wondering what that meant. He said, well, he's going to play. He's supposed to play. And McKivitz works on the day.
After picking up just 2, and this was a slick handoff.
All timed up, so you hit them quick, and we've been seeing a lot of it. That misdirection was a little quick. It was much quicker than what we've seen on some of the other things. But you know, right now, you're looking at 3rd and 7. It's a chance for Detroit to flex a little muscle here and see if they can't make a stop.
Foxy Malafanu made that hit. His second game back off IR. Here's Purdy. Protected, airs it out, looking for Pearsall's. Got him. Catch made inside the 10. 40 yards from Brock Purdy to the rookie Ricky Pearsall. Well, they're expecting pressure. It's exactly what they got. They block it up. They know they have man coverage here, so they're going to run bodies up and confuse. So they run a natural pick. Then they free Pearsall up with a big play down the field. It was such a great job in the offensive line up front in protection that Purdy was able to hold it and let Pearsall get down the field. Tries to Garando, broke the tackle, and is brought down close to the line of scrimmage as could not make the play in the backfield. A loss of about half a yard.
You go back and take a look at the protection up front and the job that they did. They keep George Kittle in, they got Juszczyk in, and it's just a big mash pit up front, and it affords Purdy then time. And because you know they're pretty predictable, when you get to third downs, they're coming after you, and they're going to play man coverage. They go bunch set with Pearsall, and they run a natural pick on Terry and Arnold, and they get the big play.
Now second down and goal. Purdy takes the throw into the end zone. Touchdown 49ers.
It's pretty good stuff by Brock Purdy, and once again, the offensive protection up front, and he's able to kind of get through his read. Season opens up and takes off up the field. Even once he passed the line of scrimmage, he pump fakes, which holds the linebacker enough to where he's able to get it into the end zone. Talked about how this was a big game for Brock Purdy to show what he could do this week and next week. It's been a great first half for him.
Can't play any better. Purdy 9 for 9 for 131, 2 touchdowns through the air. Now he gets his fifth on the ground of the season. 21-13. 49ers having fun at home.
I joined SoFi because they help millions of members earn more money, save more money, borrow better, and invest for their ambitions. Join a generational player. SoFi. Get your money right.
If you have advanced prostate cancer, you know all about perseverance. You believed in your team, even when it hurt. You met the challenge piece by piece. You didn't quit then. Don't start it now. If you've had hormonal and chemotherapy, ask your doctor about Pluvicto, a different type of treatment for PSMA-positive metastatic prostate cancer that targets PSMA-positive cancer cells so you can be you for longer. And that's no small victory. Pluvicto involves contact with radioactivity, which may increase the risk of cancer and cause fetal harm. Drink plenty of fluids, urinate often, use contraception, and talk to your doctor about ways to reduce the risk of exposing others to radiation during and after treatment. Pluvicto can cause low levels of blood cell counts, kidney problems, and infertility. Tell your doctor if you have weakness, pale skin, shortness of breath, bleeding or bruising more easily, an infection, or changes in urination. Side effects include tiredness, dry mouth, nausea, appetite loss.
Jimmy Carter hosting the 79 Super Bowl champion Steelers at the White House as he became the first president to host the Super Bowl winning team at the White House the next year.
Quite a tradition he began, and as someone who visited the White House after a couple of our Super Bowls, it was quite an honor to be there to meet the presidents when I went.
Kennedy will take a knee, and in this game it's been kind of crazy. First game this season to start with 5 possessions and 5 touchdowns. You see what Jared Goff has done on Monday Night Football. We were there in Seattle and we forward the ball being hit the ground. And now tonight he's 6 for 6, while Brock Purdy's 9 for 9.
This is an absolute clinic that these quarterbacks are putting on here in this first half.
Handoff to Gibbs, and he's brought down in the backfield by Gross Matos. Loss of 2.
He shows some of his quickness here. Taylor Decker, the left tackle, number 68. This is an old play out of Ernie Zampese's playbook. This is H post. He comes out of the backfield, and he's Zampese's playbook. This is H post. He comes out of the backfield, and he's just got to beat the linebacker, but you got to square him up. So when you come out, get going vertical, you got a two-way break, and then you hit it to the post, and if you can win inside, that's where the big plays are. And he sets it up perfectly, and Goff puts it right on him so he can run after the catch.
Sounds like he might have thrown a few of those in there.
That's a pretty good staple play.
Here's Goff just getting rid of the ball. It was an incomplete pass.
It's incomplete.
Pressure by Mustafa forced that throw and just ended that play.
Pass is incomplete. Number 28 is in the area.
Take a look at it. I'm not sure, Jefferson, I don't think it was a screenplay, but he's trying to block and help out, but smart by Goff. Now he loses his perfect streak here.
Fun way to lose it.
No, it's not, but it was a smart way to lose it and not taking the sack and getting it out. Really hefty play by Goff.
Great action. Catch made by Gibbs trying to pick his way through the 49ers defense, and he gets 7. How about an update from Lisa?
Yeah, Joe, you can see Nick Bosa on the field. He was being evaluated for a potential concussion. He was cleared. Back in the game.
Four-time Pro Bowler injured on that. A hit from Sam Okuwanu.
They like to run the ball in these situations. Well, they're going to throw it here.
On 3rd and 3, spinning catch out of Ross St. Brown. First down.
Yeah, nice job getting the ball out. I was going to say, a 3rd and medium, 3rd and just, a little more than short. They will oftentimes run it. It's one, they're good at it, and they pick up a lot of first downs doing it, but it also then sets them up because they're so aggressive on 4th down. Knowing that they have 4th down if they come up short. They get the ball to Amon-Ra and pick up the first down there.
Lions 5 for 5 on 3rd down, converting. Hand up to Reynolds. Nice hole for Craig Reynolds, who is able to pick up 8. Got in behind Penei Sewell, and Sewell usually clears a little bit of room.
He really does. There is not a block that he can't make. I mean, he is something. You look at these starting 5, Joe. You add up the number of starts that they all have, it's just under 600 starts in the NFL. Penei Sewell, he has the fewest, and he has 65 starts under his belt. So this is not only a really good offensive line, but it's an experienced offensive line.
And Skipper back in there. Handoff is to Reynolds, and he's got first down. I think it's worth going back to what you talked about when we came on camera briefly. Nobody's worried about the Lions offense. You just got to get out of Santa Clara healthy. It's the defense that has got to be a problem with the amount of points that they're giving up here since week 13. What has developed already into a shootout here in Santa Clara tonight.
That is the worry, and everyone knows it. I will say, if there's an offense that can hold serve and play that brand of ball, it's this one. They can play any kind of game you want to play on offense.
Another first down. And another catch for St. Brown.
I mean, the job that Ben Johnson has done offensively with the balance of running the football, the quick passing game, the play action game, the deep shots down the field, they have it all. So they understand there's a lot of pressure that comes with that when your defense, but this was a game that I really thought, at least, that we were going to see a little more Detroit defense, but that hasn't happened.
Down by 8 on the move for the Lions. 2 minutes left in a fast-paced first half. Here at the end of week 17.
It's minute warning.
Halftime, we'll have first half reactions. The ESPN Saturday doubleheader coming up at the beginning of week number 18. Coming up at the half. We'll talk about that. It's going to be fun next week. We will be in Pittsburgh. Our crew will be with a game against Cincinnati. Time now for our fantasy recap brought to you by Wingstop. Baker Mayfield, for the year he's put together, 5 passing touchdowns yesterday in a had-to-have-it game for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They're now in charge of the NFC South. And T. Higgins, just an incredible day against the Denver Broncos, and we'll see him on Saturday in Pittsburgh.
A lot of teammates saying pay the man. I know Joe Burrow agrees with that.
Single.
He would sure hate to lose him. What a night he had.
Here is Gibbs, and he's hit by Winters, and they're really getting a lot of good play out of Dean Winters, who's had a chance to step forward. 6th-round pick from TCU last year, no game.
Yeah, he is a really bright young player. Last year, he really didn't play much defense. He was primarily a special teams player, and then this year he's gotten more opportunity, and he has really shown what he's capable of doing.
Texans playing for the 49ers. Fake toss. Amon-Ra St. Brown out on the outside. Warner was the first to get there for the 49ers in a gain of 5. 3rd down coming up.
Yeah, Kyle Shanahan comes right in and calls timeout, getting him to 3rd down, hoping that maybe he can get one more crack at it.
And we'll be back in 30 seconds after a word from United Airlines.
There are 2 ways this story can go. One with a line, and one with United's backdrop shortcut. I know which one I prefer. The one with the United app.
Well, 3rd down and 5.
I guess whatever happens here on 3rd down is going to determine whether or not Ben Johnson's going to be calling something on 4th down.
Gibbs, short. And I'm sure Dan Campbell will run the field goal unit right on out.
Oh, yeah. Of course he will. That was the 3rd down in medium that I was talking about, where they run the ball and come right back and make this a little bit shorter 4th and 3, but
of the time. On the other side of the 50, 45% of the time.
Yeah, it's what they do. It is in their DNA. Or it's at least in Dan Campbell's DNA.
4th down and 3.
Oh, come on! Come on, Lions.
Finally, a defensive stop. And Renardo Green, the rookie, 2nd-round pick.
Antique dealer. antique dealer.
Oh,
Housekeeper.
Oh,
Briefly, Hausman was on a Kaiser. Briefly, get Sheamus to left. Expose the ribs. That was the top.
With a trip to the Super Bowl on the line. But 1 for 3 to Dan Campbell on the 4th down in that game. Here's Purdy, he's in trouble. And just able to get rid of it.
I'll go back to that. I heard Dan this week talking about it and about his aggressiveness and going for it on 4th down. And I thought what he said was interesting. He said if later that night he doesn't feel that he'll regret the decision, regardless of whatever the outcome might be, then he's okay with it. And that's been his approach. And I don't know if he's ever been gone for it and had any regrets. I don't think that he has. I mean, even in that championship game last year, it's just who he is, it's what he believes, and it's going to be what he continues to do, certainly through the postseason.
Purdy able to get rid of it. Here's it out for Garendo. Just a perfect throw from Brock Purdy. He dropped it in, and Isaac Garendo is good for 40 yards.
Yeah, they bring Garendo out of the backfield. You see them do this a lot with Christian McCaffrey.
Here's Garendo again.
Well, Garendo, he can really run. I mean, this guy's a 4.3 40, so he's faster than Christian McCaffrey. And you see that, you know, he comes up, they think he's going to just hook up, and he just keeps on going, and he finds that hole in the zone, and it's just a good call by Kyle Shanahan, and they just continue to execute at a high level here in this first half.
Back-to-back catches by Garendo, making his 3rd start. Didn't play last week. He's had a foot injury and then a hamstring injury. Wouldn't know it by that 40-yard completion. 2nd and 2. Pearson had a nice first half last week at Miami, and he's putting together a nice first half here tonight.
I really like what he has shown. You know, he missed so much time early on, and when he's come back, his route tree is kind of grown. That route that we just saw is really a lot of what he was doing the first few games when he came back. A lot of underneath type throws, and lately he's been working the intermediate areas a little bit more, but he's a good route runner. He's a really good addition, and then, of course, with Ayuk going down, he's been relied on more heavily.
49ers able to continually stop the clock here. They got just the 1 timeout remaining, and here's another example of that. As the ball's knocked out of the hands of Juwan Jennings, and the clock stops with 23 seconds left.
Juwan Jennings,
right now.
another one of those guys. They're getting right back on the line.
And Purdy is able to clock it. It was interesting because the official along the sideline was blowing the play dead, and then the announcement by Sean Hockley on his way over, Russell Yerk was saying it was a fumble out of bounds, so we're going to start the clock.
Right, the ball is dead when the ball goes out of bounds. Because it was a fumble that went out of bounds, the clock is started again when the ball's returned back inbound. So it was properly handled.
We saw that last week, didn't we, with the New Orleans Saints?
Yes, we did. We're down 2. They're in the field
inside the 10.
Looks like it's going to be a hold against San Francisco.
And the indication is it's against the 49ers.
Yes.
Now 11 seconds remaining.
Pass interference. Offense number 19. It's a 10-yard penalty. Replay, third down.
Jacob Cowing, guilty of offensive pass interference, would have to fall, I guess, into the category of a pick.
Yeah, they're again, they got the man coverage, and if he didn't sell it. And, you know, Kittle does it perfectly, and all he has to do is just run his route. Kittle's going to come across. He's going to run his defender into him, and it just was not a very good sell job. Now, they put Deebo Samuel in the backfield, and they ran the same route with him that they ran with Garendo up the left sideline. They covered it better this time. They had Kittle, but just didn't execute it the way they hoped they would.
Still have a timeout remaining. Quick throw, Kittle. Back into more normal field goal range for Moody as he's out of bounds at the 33 with 7 seconds left. Kyle Shanahan is going to run his field goal unit out there after the 7-yard pickup. And Jake Moody, it's been a rough go for him since coming back from a high ankle injury.
Yeah, if he can make this and come away with 3 points, what a drive this was to close out this half, and an outstanding first half of football for this offense. This drive started, remember, on the 49ers' 8-yard line.
51-yard try.
Yes.
The frustration for Kyle Shanahan continues to mount. I don't want to speak for him, but I think he's probably all he can stand. Now 23 of 31 on the season and 10 for 17 over his last 7 games. He started out the year well. He was 13 of 14, then got a high ankle sprain week 5, and he has struggled since coming back.
Yeah, those are tough. It's tough on the kicker as well. But you know, you put together a drive like that and execute the way they did, and only to come up with no points. It's happened too many times.
The Lions will receive the second half kickoff, and they will be trailing by 8 as we send it down to Lisa.
Thank you, Joe. Kyle, despite the circumstances, you've said that your guys have shown no quit this week. What do you like about what you're seeing from your team tonight?
I mean, I like it. I like how we're playing, man. Our 4 possessions, we've got 4 scores except that missed field goal. We just got to get them to third down more. They're running the ball too well. We get them to third down, we got a chance to get them off the field. It was a big-time stop there on 4th and 3.
Thanks for your time.
Well, we have seen 472 combined yards, 34 combined points, and touchdowns were scored on the first 5 drives of the game. Good game, 8-point lead for the 49ers. All-State halftime coming up next.
Some people just know they can save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like you know to check your school's saying first before saying it.
High tide. High tide, guys. High tide. High tide. High tide. High tide.
It's roll tide.
Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate.
This is the Allstate halftime.
Welcome, it is the Allstate halftime here. The Niners with an 8-point lead with Ryan Clark and J.C. Kelsey. I am Scott Van Pelt. And we had a lot of questions on Countdown. What will the Lions do? Who will we see? It's been all their guys. But Ryan, the problem on defense is this is who they've got on defense. How concerning is it? The only stop was by on this field goal.
Yeah, listen, that's the biggest problem, right? These are all your people. This is your team going all out to win the game. And you actually haven't stopped the San Francisco 49ers. They just ran out of time there late in the half. And so they're going to continue to be attacked this way. And you saw the 4th down attempt where it's a broken up pass in the end zone to Sam LaPorta. That was a necessity for this offense because they know they can't get stopped defensively.
So, I mean, we talk about the identity of Dan Campbell, he goes for it, but in this case, you can't get a stop. It's not a choice.
Yeah, you have to go for it, and you don't want to be playing that place as a coach, Dan Campbell's aggressiveness has been something that's become a calling card of the Detroit Lions because it helps them find ways to win. It seems like it's going to be a way to try not to lose games going forward.
We had a go ahead.
No, absolutely. I mean, listen, that's the most. If they would, if San Fran makes that field goal, it's the most points in the first half that Detroit's given up all year.
Yeah.
Right. And this is by a team that's not going to be in the playoffs. Now, Brock Purdy's showing that he wants to get paid this offseason. He's doing a pretty good job today so far. But yeah, not an impressive performance right there from Detroit.
We had a laugh as we watched this, but I'm not kidding. Who likes to pitch the ball backwards more? Your brother and Johnson Ryan.
Hey, Trav says all the time it's the most underutilized rule in the NFL rulebook. So yeah, I mean, listen, it's if you do it the right way and you don't do it all willy-nilly and unsafe, it can be a dynamic tool, and Detroit has shown to use it the right way.
That's what I was going to say. The way that Detroit utilizes it, though, you can tell there's so much preparation and timing that goes into it, and they create explosive plays off of it. But that used to be the cool thing about Detroit. It's starting to feel like the thing they have to do in order to stay in these games.
I think Ben Johnson's made the point that when they went to, wishbone and pitching the ball all over the place, it might have seemed like a risky play, but the way they do it, predicated on timing, with their skill position players with the ball in their hands, it's just like your brother when he's looking for somebody running wide with a chip. It feels like a play that other teams should do.
They can do it with offensive linemen. That's how coordinated they are as a team.
Right. That's the trick plays in that Lions, Ben Johnson's playbook. It seems like it's deeper than anybody else's, but at this point, they've got to have them because they've got to score almost every time they touch it.
Absolutely, and I think Jared Goff, they still have dynamic weapons, but that's something that's it's fun to run those plays. Like when you're an offensive player and you get to do some of this stuff, it just makes being on the field fun together. So that's something that they all love doing. I imagine that they're going to keep doing that. One, because they love it, but also two, because they're going to have to.
Yeah, the issue at the moment is not that side of the ball for Detroit. It's getting stops. The only one they have at the moment, again, wasn't a stop so much as a miss for San Francisco. More. All day halftime. Coming up right after this.
You're watching the All-State Halftime. All-State. You're in good hands.
Celebrate up to 50% off savings with the clearance event at Target.
Everybody celebrate.
Hurry in. Clearance deals go fast. Shop in stores now for up to 50% off. Only at Target.
Beacon helps. Wanna warm up? This sure helps. Classic bacon, shroom and Swiss. Beacon Mel season is tasty bliss. BK, have it your way.
Take a look at me now.
Welcome back to the All-State Halftime.
Something really special.
The college football playoff quarterfinals continue tomorrow.
We are looking forward to those college football playoff games. Then on Saturday, we have an NFL doubleheader on ESPN and ABC. We'll get you started with the countdown, 3 Eastern time ahead of the Browns taking on the Ravens. Baltimore clinches the AFC North with a victory. If the Ravens lose, Pittsburgh can clinch the division with a victory in our second game against the Bengals. Of course, the Bengals have an avenue to make it into the playoffs. They're going to need some help from both Miami and Kansas City. They need Denver and Miami to lose, I should say. Now, a couple of playoff teams for sure, fellas, that we will see on Saturday. In terms of questions you're looking for answers to, Ryan, where do you start?
It's the Pittsburgh Steelers. This team's on a 3-game skid and just not playing good football at all. You played the Philadelphia Eagles, the Baltimore Ravens, Kansas City Chiefs, but you can't head into the playoffs 0-4. One, for the seeding purposes, but like Coach Tomlin says, you don't want to go in limping into the tournament, but you're playing a Cincinnati Bengals team that is as scary as any on offense. This could be something that leads into the playoffs for a one-and-done for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, and listen, I want to watch Cincinnati play. I love Joe Burrow, T. Higgins, Jamar Chase. they've been so fun to watch together. And this might be, unfortunately, the last game that those three guys get to play together. They've been so dynamic, and hopefully they get in the playoffs. I want to see them in the playoffs. I know you don't want to hear that as a Steelers. Yeah, I mean, they're fun to watch. And if Joe has played to the level that I think he deserves to be in the playoffs.
Hey, Scott, and also, too, I ask you this question. You're the head coach of the team. Would you rather see the Steelers coming or the Cincinnati Bengals? I don't want any part of Joe Burrow on the Bengals offense right now. Who would? And that's what makes it so fascinating from Kansas City's perspective. You take on a Denver team, you don't want any part of Joe Burrow. You get the very best of him in the playoffs. And so those are just some of the subplots that are in play. Again, we will have that doubleheader coming up. It's Cleveland against Baltimore. Baltimore, a massive favorite if they win. They win in the North. Pittsburgh and Cincinnati at night. Countdown gets us started on Saturday. Mariah, Jason, Scott here. We will see you when this game is done. Coming up out of the locker room, the Lions will get the football. They need that offense to keep humming as they trail at the half by 8. We'll see you when this game is done. Enjoy the second half here in Santa Clara.
Thank you for watching the All-State Halftime.
Some people just know they can save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like you know to check your spelling first before taking off your shirts.
Stu, Virginia.
So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds.
Extreme flavors don't sell sass. Ads on LinkedIn do. LinkedIn is the place to be.
Our job is to take a person who's in a difficult situation and fix their problem for them. Give them a chance to move on with their life.
Begin as the college football playoff continues.
8 teams enter, 4 will advance.
New Year's Eve, Penn State and Boise State battle in prime time. Then a New Year's Day triple-header. Texas takes on Arizona State. Ohio State seeks revenge against Oregon. And Notre Dame faces Georgia. The college football playoff quarterfinals, New Year's Eve and New Year's Day on ESPN.
Pivotal moment as he looks for the win.
If I were him, I'd bundle with the personal price plan.
Bundle, Jake from State Farm.
That's right, Jan. If this were home and this were auto, the bundle move could bring home the real victory. Savings.
That's a weird analogy, Jake. Here we go.
This is a great moment for bundling. Bundling. Just another way to save with the personal price plan. There it is.
His signature dance.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Rated teen.
30 seconds to launch of A18 Pro. Give me a go, no go, neural engine.
Supercharged, go.
GPU.
All 6 cores are go.
Apple Intelligence, go. Next level gaming, go. Jumbo G.
Don't know wearing a top hat is go.
93 Unclosed browser tabs. Go. Go for launch. We have liftoff.
This broadcast is copyrighted by NFL Productions for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this broadcast or any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the consent of NFL Productions
promotions is prohibited.
Tonight's first half highlights are presented by Target. Welcome to Santa Clara, California, and welcome to this rematch of last year's NFC Championship game. Moving left, Purdy throws. Pearsall. A good throw by Brock Purdy as well. Hughes check, gets a block, and in for a touchdown. See if in fact he did get in. Sure did. Here's a little lateral to William. He's down the sideline. A lot of teams try him when Detroit runs them at work. Purdy makes the throw into the end zone. Touchdown 49ers. Target circle, the best way to get more target. Grilling first half, and a moment ago, Lisa Salters caught up with Lions head coach Dan Campbell.
Dan, you came here expecting a fight. You're getting a fight. What do you want to see on this opening drive to set the tone for the rest of the second half?
Yeah, look, I think right now the big thing is red zone. You know, we got to finish with points offensively and defensively. We allow them down there, and they're scoring 7. It was a good stop at the end. But that's really the difference right now. And then I told the team, the things that don't require talent, we've got to be at our best there, man. That's what we talked about. We got to be at our best. And look, San Fran, we know what they are, man. It's a good team. They've had some injuries, but we knew this wasn't going to be easy.
Thank you, Coach. Appreciate it. Good luck second half.
Lisa, Dan, thank you. Somebody get that man some tea.
It was a it's Finn McMisson. That's right.
He's the best. He's about as genuine a guy as you will find. He wears his emotion on his sleeve. And
I thought it was interesting. He says we got to come away with points when we get in the red zone. Well, you would have if you settled
This
for a
movie,
field goal.
that was a flex. Yes, I didn't, Queen. Is there anything wrong with that?
Yes, there is.
he is
Rated MA
going
15
full throttle
plus,
tonight.
and you are
He
not
lost
allowed
his
to
voice
watch it.
along the way. As Moody will kick it away. Tom Kennedy on the return. He is out near the 35. That's where the Lions will set up as they trail by 8. We'll welcome you back inside the broadcast booth. Joe Buck, the Hall of Famer Troy Aikman, and well, I know we're gonna talk. I think the majority of the second half about the Lions defense. That's kind of the issue going into week number 18. But right now, the Detroit Lions offense.
It was a fun first half of football. It was a lot of offense. I don't know that either of these defensive coordinators would be too excited about that first half, but they get a chance. It's going to be important, certainly for Detroit, kind of clean some things up.
Just a perfect throw to Amon-Ra St. Brown. Boy, you're not kidding, Joe. That throw,
that was about as pretty as it gets. You got Amon-Ra St. Brown. He's a little hobbled coming back to the huddle after this catch. But you see two defenders right there, and he's able to feather that ball right where he needed to. And, man, what a fourth-round choice Amon-Ra St. Brown was when they drafted him out of USC and what he's been able to do.
Play action from Goff, and here he is on this side. He is so tough. I mean, we saw him limp away after that previous catch. You talk about, I don't want to go old school here, but you talk about like just a football player. He's like the anti-diva wide receiver.
Well, they don't have him on this team, which I think is a real luxury for Jared Goff. And, you know, he was primarily an outside receiver, outside the numbers in college. And Detroit saw him as more of an inside player. And he has been that. He's been everything, actually, wherever they want him to do.
Here's Bosa making a play on Gibbs and a loss of 1. I mean, we're going to see, you know, all world in Jamar Chase next week of the Cincinnati Bengals, and they've got Justin Jefferson, and he and the Vikings are waiting for their date and their trip to Detroit. But then there's Amon-Ra St. Brown, who I don't think Dan Campbell would trade him for either one of those two guys, and those two guys are all world.
Jared Goff wouldn't either. In fact, he's played with some outstanding wide receivers. He said he has more trust and confidence in Amon-Ra St. Brown than any receiver he's played with. That's high praise.
Here's a strong catch by Jamison Williams. On a fast ball from Goff and a first down for Detroit, 14-yard pickup.
This is the difference in Jameson Williams this year. Look at the route running. That's outstanding. Renardo Green's in good coverage. Perfect ball placement by Goff. But Jameson Williams was a raw talent when he got to Detroit, and he was a deep threat. And his career got off to a rocky start with a suspension. But man, this year he has worked his way into a really promising wide receiver running excellent routes.
Here is Gibbs breaking one tackle, but can't get away from Bosa. And a loss of 1 on that play. So the top 2 receivers, you see the yardage. Jameson Williams coming into this game, averaging just under 19 yards a catch. And Goff told us that Jameson needed to develop confidence with his hands. And then you add that to him improving as a route runner, throw in his incredible speed, now you've got some.
Oh my gosh, he was a one-trick pony. I mean, he was a deep threat, and now nobody's going to cover this guy with the speed that he has, and right now they're not able to.
Gibbs on second down and 11 gets 6.
You know, he claims he can run a 4.1, which is, for people who don't know what that means, that means like he's the fastest person on the planet, and he might very well be. And if you are that fast, you really should just dominate the intermediate area of the field as well, because you start threatening defenders deep, and speed is where you win when you're running routes. And as soon as someone with speed realizes that, they're virtually unstoppable, and that's what Jameson Williamson is learning.
Here's a catch down the sideline. There he is. That's Robinson, and Allen, just his 3rd catch of the season. I think got both feet down. They're ruling it a catch, and it was tight.
It was such a great release by him off the line of scrimmage. Isaac Yiadom is in coverage, but the way he set him up, and he gets his feet down, it's just... They're going to need him. As we've seen, they need him tonight. They're going to need all these playmakers to score points because of the problems that they've had on the defensive side of the ball.
That was 21 yards, another perfect throw. Here's one for St. Brown, and this one too far.
I'll tell you, the other guy, Joe, that they're going to be getting back is a guy who I really like. And there was a chance maybe he could have come back tonight. No real reason to do that. Is Khalif Raymond. And he's just another piece of that puzzle that you bring him in, and some of his abilities to create separation as a 4th wide receiver. You know, the more guys you can have that can win individual routes, you start putting defenses on. Put them in a real bind.
Second down and goal. Handoff is to Gibbs, and there's not much room. They made the most of it. Not only might they get Khalif Raymond back off the foot injury in IR next week, but talking to Dan Campbell, they could get David Montgomery back. Dan Campbell saying if you ask David, he'll be ready next week. They still have to get that passed by the doctors, but I mean, this 1-2 punch is as good as it gets. And he's got the sprained MCL that he suffered against the Bills week 15. Now 3rd and goal.
53.
It's a touchdown, yes.
And they're going to go for 2 to try and tie it.
A really good route by Sam Laporta. As he comes off the ball, he widens and it creates separation. You see him as he comes off. He starts to the left. It opens up a hole there within that zone and allows Van Goff to just put it on. Just little things like that, especially down here in the red zone, is really good then for your quarterback.
They're just 0 for 1 on 2-point tries this season. Goff.
2 points, yes.
Jared Goff out to his right, finds Tim Patrick. 21-21. Lions owner and chair Sheila Ford Hamp stood by the team in 2022 after a 1-5 start.
I know this is difficult. Our rebuild is hard, but we really believe in our process. We really believe we're going to turn this thing around the right way. I just don't want everyone to push the panic button and give up the ship, because I think we've got the right people in place to pull this off.
Boy, was she right. Since then, the Lions have gone 33-10 in the regular season. Took over June of 2020, succeeding her mother Martha as principal owner less than a year later. January of 21, Brad Holmes comes aboard. Dan Campbell's hired. What a combination she put in place with Holmes and Campbell. I mean, it's thrilling to see what they're doing with the Lions.
Just a lot of good decisions, hiring a lot of good people. People make a difference. The one that we didn't mention, Joe, is Chris Spillman and the impact he's had on this organization for a long time. Not only from his playing days, but now that he's in the front office.
Hopefully there's going to be a hold against San Francisco.
Good job. There's Chris Spillman here. Brad Holmes. And just some really good decisions, and not only
during the return, holding by the receiving team.
Not only with ownership, but getting the front office right, and then them making the right hires, bringing in Dan Campbell, and him assembling that coaching staff, and then these players that they have, and all of it. And when you have something as good as what they have in Detroit right now, it's hard to replicate, and Ben Johnson was talking about that when you start talking to him about what his future might be. Hard situations to lead.
Here's Jennings, who gets popped by Joseph. A 13-yard completion from Brock Purdy. First 24 games, including playoffs, 4-19-1. See the winning percentage worst in the NFL. The points per game last 35-10. The winning percentage is second best in the league, and they are at 29 points a game. Best in the league.
It's been fun to watch this rebuild that they've had.
Brendo, a nice one. Jack Campbell with the tackle. That's why, does Ben Johnson stay after this year?
But the reality of the sport is these guys are playing hard. They're trying to get their team out of play. Whoa! Wow. They're trying to get their team an aggressive style of play.
Whoa! So they just threw out Brian Branch, who's one of their best defensive players, and that came from New York.
It's not much in the backfield, but the impact that it has on these players with play action. And they hit it, and then everything opens up behind it. And you got the outside guy clearing through the middle. A whole lot of field out in front of Pearsall.
Play action, Kittle breaks the tackle, and still rolling. Kittle down to the 5. Vildor had that early chance, and Kittle went right through him, a gain of 23. This guy, he's like a bucking bronco when he gets the ball in his hands. He just refuses to get tackled.
It's, we talked about it. Nick Bosa playing, George Kittle playing, all these guys that with their skins on the walls could have every reason to just shut it down and walk.
Purdy just got rid of it. Kittle, the 5-time Pro Bowl tight end. Just watch the power with which he takes it after making the catch. So good after the catch. He is third all time, this great organization with the 49ers in catches and receiving yards, behind Jerry Rice and Terrell Owens.
Their best leaders are their best players, and that's why they've been as good as they've been. And you listen to George Kittle talk after games or whenever there's a tough moment within the locker. Those guys police themselves, and he's right there at the forefront of it all.
Oh, come on.
That'll go down as a touchdown pass.
Good defensive players, terrible.
And
Debo took care of the rest. They didn't have this play in the offense when I played. I wish they had him. I'd have had more than 11 touchdowns in a season. But that's a great job by Debo finishing it off, and Aaron Glenn, he's still over there on that Detroit side that's trying to come up with an answer for how they slow this group down. Brock Purdy with 4 total touchdowns in the game, and he's thrown 3 incompletions. It goes down as a touchdown pass. The air yards about 11. Total replay brought to you by Chewy. I just think Kyle Shanahan has put on an absolute masterclass tonight with all of the play action, the misdirection, and how he's been able to free people up. We came into this game talking about the offensive line, guys starting. We haven't talked about them all night because they've been doing their job, and they've been able to protect Purdy, and he's been able to find the open receivers, and there's been a lot of them, and they have moved the football, really without any resistance from the Detroit Lions.
Got to also credit Chris Forster, who is the offensive line coach in charge of the run game. All that is blended in, and that offensive line, as you said, as makeshift as it is, has been good enough against the Lions here tonight. Here is Kennedy on the return to the 31.
Well, on the other side of it, this is some of what we expected to see from Detroit, but on that last drive, Jared Goff was just masterful. The ball placement, these coverages aren't all that bad, and yet he's been able to drop them right where he needed to, and just has been outstanding throughout this game. So as good as San Francisco has been offensively, Jared and the Lions on their side of the ball, they've held up their end, and they've kept this game close.
28-21, play action. Brock protected. Gibbs on the catch. A great move. And he got about 9.5.
Last week, Jahmyr Gibbs, he had a career high 23 carries. In that game, it was just the 3rd game of his career where he's had 20 carries or more in a ball game. So, right now, this is more of the load that he's been taking on. And we've talked about David Montgomery coming back. I do think that Montgomery brings the toughness to this group that the entire offense feeds off of, but Gibbs can do it all as well. He just delivered a
Good pass is caught. Yes. Uh-oh. Let's hope it's not holding.
As Gibbs picked up the blitzer, the pass complete to Laporta and a flag thrown in the secondary.
That's a great block by Jahmyr Gibbs. That was Malik Mustafa that he blocked, and when he brings it, and they got D Winters, they were already thin at linebacker.
Dre Greenlaw is not active. He's finished for the year. Played 1 game plus.
There is no foul on the play. The result of the play is first down.
No foul. Yes.
Gibbs just took on Mustafa.
Yeah, he's a complete player. And these are the things, when you got a back who runs the way that he does, can he be a 3-down back? Can he protect? Can he catch the football? And the answers are resounding yes when it comes to Jahmyr Gibbs.
12th pick overall in the draft last year. Highest running back the Lions have selected since the great Barry Sanders. Number 3 overall in '89. To Reynolds. Craig gets a couple as Alex Barrett makes the tackle. The guy who started with the Lions and got into the action last week, his first game in 4 years. So far down the depth chart they are with the 49ers. 2 teams that come into this game with 18 guys on IR each.
It just seems, I know we tend to focus on the year as though it's an isolated year, but a lot of teams have been decimated with injuries this year.
Here's Williams. Jamison, second down, takes it to the 26, got 5.
You look at this game tonight, Joe, you mentioned it at halftime. We've got, 650 yards or so just past halfway of this third quarter.
And the 49ers are having fun with it, I think.
Yeah.
The Lions have to be a little disturbed with what's happening with what that man and the offense of the 49ers is doing to their defense with a big game coming up against Sam Darnold and the Vikings next Sunday night. Here's Brock. Down he goes. Bosa. It's 4th down.
That's a bad sack by Jared Goff. You gotta get rid of this football, but Nick Bosa just continues to play at an elite level. He goes right through Taylor Decker, and then to be able to block him right to the left of the screen, here he is, and they're in field goal range, and then they get out, they're still in range, but at least going to attempt it. But boy, to take that kind of sack at that moment.
57-yard drive by Bates.
He made it.
And he
Yes.
One shy of his long this season. It's a 4-point game.
American Prime Vols on Netflix. I only play Call of Duty Black Ops 6.
Playoffs are right around the corner. Don't miss the final 2 action-packed game days of the regular season. Saturday on ESPN and ABC. Browns and Ravens, Bengals and Steelers at night. And then Sunday on CBS, Fox, and NBC. There's only one spot in the 14-team playoff field that's not determined in that AFC chase. We look at that wild card spot. You've got Denver, Cincinnati, and Miami. You got the NFC South. And that fight between the Tampa Bay Bucks and the Atlanta Falcons, with the Bucks having control of that. If they get a win, they get the division. And the number 4 seed. Here is Debo. Strong return out across the 30. Well, for the Lions, their last championship was 1957. One playoff win in 65 seasons from 58 to 2022. But enemies beware. Made the NFC Championship game last season. 13 wins already this season. Most in franchise history. They have the most points in franchise history. They're trying to go undefeated on the road for the first time in franchise history. They're trying to win their division and get the number 1 seed and stay home in Detroit in the playoffs. And that would take a win next week over the Vikings. 30 for Kittle. Pass interference as flags fly. Joseph comes away with the ball, but Kittle was taken down by Brian Branch.
Flags are on the field. They didn't have to either because this ball was pretty far down. Of course, Branch doesn't know that, but he's coming over there to try to pick him up, and with the contact, Branch, who's been playing safety this year,
Pass
because
interference, defense number 32. The ball will be placed at the spot of the foul. It's first down.
Because of injury last week, he started playing more slot, which he had done last year. He's just one of those really versatile players, a player that I really like, and I actually like to see him at the slot. I like to see anyone who can play the slot or safety play closer to the ball. They just have a bigger impact on the game, in my opinion. But good player, but he got caught there.
First down in midfield after the pass interference call. It's 18 defensive pass interference calls against this group from Detroit.
It's picked off, yes.
Joe, just a ball that gets away from Purdy. Really, the only one we've seen here tonight.
He's got 8 interceptions on the year. Way too high, and Joseph waiting for it. Frustration for Kyle Shanahan.
Just a ball that, he hasn't had really any of these tonight, but a throw that gets away from Brock Purdy. Good route, just sails on him, and you've got a middle safety, and bad things typically happen. But these safeties have been a real strong point for this defense all season long. Kirby Joseph, as you said, Joe, that's his 8th interception between the two. 12 of their 15 interceptions have come from the safety position this year.
Play action from Goff. Williams, nice catch and run after we saw that replay of Dan Campbell hugging his good luck charm, leading the league in interceptions, has a touchdown. Kirby Joseph sets up the Lions. And by the way, if there was any misdirection from Dan Campbell on wanting to go full throttle in tonight's game, a game that doesn't really matter much, that there was no misdirection. They're out there playing and trying to win this ball game. Here's Reynolds, first down.
He did it last year as well, Joe, when he didn't have anything to play for. And it's just, that's what I say. I feel bad even saying nothing to play for, because, don't tell him that. You always have something to play for, and he's just not of that mindset. I mentioned earlier, he reminds me a lot of Jimmy Johnson, and there's a swagger to him, and he instills confidence in the team the way that Jimmy did. And a lot of coaches worry about overconfidence. Jimmy insisted on it, and Dan Campbell does as well. And this is all part of that. It's all part of the culture that he has built. Some people may disagree with it, but hard to argue with the success.
Here's Reynolds. He was able to wait that out and let a block develop and turn that into a nice carry for 6 yards. I think Dan Campbell, though, you know way better than I. Dan's a little touchier, feelier than Jimmy Johnson.
Yeah,
will you give me that?
Yeah, for sure. And I said it, that their styles are a little bit different, but at the end of the day, what they're trying to accomplish, they bring out the best in the players, and ultimately, that's all the players want. Now, I will go back to what I said earlier, Joe. The bye for this team, the first-round bye, is big because of the fact they haven't had a bye since week 5. I mean, this is a lot of football and a lot of wear and tear. This is a football team that they need a break. So the #1 seed is really important to them.
Amon-Ra St. Brown right over the middle, wide open. He's down near the 6.
So they go play action. Watch Fred Warner here in the middle. Unlike the Detroit Lions, where we watch them, he's not fooled by the play action. He's still just sitting there. He picks up this guy. Now there's a bust on the other side, and that's some of what you talked about when you don't have a Dre Greenlaw and the impact that has. But it just shows some of the discipline that a guy like Fred Warner has in reading his keys and knowing what's coming.
First down and goal. Jefferson down to the 4. Just one more point about Dre Greenlaw, who is going to be shut down, it appears, for the rest of the season. Kyle Shanahan said not having him has really hurt us this year. And he wasn't making excuses. It wasn't like that. But he said, I believe we started to lose the Super Bowl when Dre went down in the second quarter. Remember, he's the guy who got hurt coming off the sideline and tore his Achilles, which then his return was delayed until one game. Then he hurt his calf last week and he's finished.
I don't disagree with that either. And he knew the start of this season was going to be challenging because of Dre coming off of that injury.
Play action, second and goal all day, and for Williams, incomplete. It's third down and goal. Dre is a free agent to be. And Kyle Shanahan said for us to play the defense, especially the run defense we want to play, we need 2 stud linebackers. They missed one of their studs this year.
Yeah, they sure did. And I sense, after talking with Kyle, that that's going to be what GM John Lynch is focused on this offseason, is addressing some of the needs that they have on that defensive side of the ball.
Third down and goal. Backing up, and Amon-Ra St. Brown couldn't find it. Ball was let go by Goff before Amon-Ra was out of his break.
Pressure by Bosa forced the throw. Yeah, Bosa, he's been forcing a lot of throws here tonight. Wow.
They're going to go for it. The Lions are on 4th down. Bosa 2 sacks, 4 quarterback hurries, and 4 tackles for loss. 4th and goal.
Well, he's consistent.
Idiot, it's a touchdown. Yes.
St. Brown, and he just runs a little bit of a pivot route, and you've got Bernardo Green, who is out there and just busts the coverage. And Bernardo Green, the rookie, he has had a really solid year. A good player, but that wasn't his best play.
Extra point is good. The Lions tonight, 3 touchdowns on 3rd down, and now 1 on 4th down. And Amon-Ra St. Brown is able to find his 12th of the season.
I thought it was interesting, Joe, when we talked with Ben Johnson, and we were talking to him about Amon-Ra St. Brown, and he said that he and Jared Goff get together on Friday or Saturday. They go through all the 3rd down calls to see which ones Jared likes, and they rank them. And he said it's come down to Jared just whenever Amon-Ra St. Brown is the #1 receiver in the route, then that's his favorite play. That's what they're going to call.
Frustrating John Lynch. I mean, I wouldn't want to get in his way either, the general manager of the San Francisco 49ers.
Oh, he's as competitive as they come, and anyone who saw his Hall of Fame career knows that. I mean, this guy's a competitor, and I mean, look at him. He's about ready to put his face in that glass. He was a quarterback at Stanford. Yeah, and a pitcher. He pitched, and for him to then transition to safety and be the hitter that he was. There's not many quarterbacks that could be a hit. I mean, you can play safety, but not many quarterbacks are going to be hitters like he was.
Well, he and Kyle have their work cut out for him with this upcoming offseason. They have had 4 seasons with 10 or more wins. They've been to the champ game 4 out of 5 years. They've been to the Super Bowl 2 times. This is the 4th season with a losing record. And they will miss the playoffs in all 4 of those. So it's been half good, half not so good.
It's boom or bust. They either don't make the playoffs or they make the championship game, one or the other.
Here's Kittle. A little more offense for you. And that should do it for the 3rd quarter.
That's the other
thrilling
quarter,
game in Santa Clara. As for the first time tonight, the 49ers trail in the ballgame 31. Friday night at 1 a.m. Eastern on ESPN and ESPN Plus. The show comes to you from Union Transfer Concert Hall in Philadelphia and will run for 5 straight Fridays. He's been a hit here at ESPN. He's beloved in Philly. Great place to host a late night show on ESPN. Michelle and I will be guests on the second Friday installment of January. Yeah. Anxious to see what we can and cannot say at 1 a.m. Eastern on ESPN.
Let it fly.
Let it fly. I mean, come on. So what's the worst that could happen, right?
I'll be working with someone else. I mean,
that's the worst thing that could happen. There you go. You're pushing me up. Lions 22 straight wins when leading, entering the fourth quarter. They lead tonight. Second. Guerrero with a strong run. He's looked good tonight. He's looked good catching it. He's looked good running it. The 4th-round pick from Louisville.
Yeah, he really has. And you think about it, last week, when he was out, when Patrick Taylor got the start, he was the 4th starting running back this year. And, I know Kyle Shanahan doesn't want to hear it. He doesn't like it, but it is kind of true that you put somebody back there that has some talent, and Kyle Shanahan's going to find a way to get him yards. And Guerrero's had a good night.
Purdy lets it fly. Complete to Kittle. Oh, man. Perfect throw to the 40 of Detroit.
Yeah, he's had some good ones, and this one might be his best coming off that interception. But Kittle, such a friendly quarterback receiver and creates a little bit of separation. And Purdy lays it out there just perfectly. I mean, that coverage of Noah Vonleh was pretty good. There's quite a connection between those two. You mentioned the year that Kittle's having.
What's up? Here's a little razzle-dazzle. Pearsall just throws it away wisely as he was looking downfield with Guerrero going down the sidelines. Debo tossed it to Pearsall, but there was just nothing downfield, and most of the time the guys just throw it because that's the play. At least he
you read my mind.
Threw it out of bounds.
We would practice those things. It was Alvin Harper who would be the guy, and we always had him going to the left because he was left-handed. And if we called it, we just knew. I mean, I would tell Norv Turner, look, if we call it, it's 30. Whether it's open or not. And that's what a lot of these guys, they just don't get that opportunity very often. Show some real restraint.
This one too high. We've used check the target. It's 3rd down and 10 now.
Yeah, good coverage. So we're seeing Aaron Glenn in this man coverage defense. And, Aaron Glenn makes no bones about it. They're going to play their style. And it doesn't much matter who's not on the field or who is on the field. They're going to be aggressive. They're going to be physical. They're going to play Detroit Lions defensive brand of football. And with that, they're going to bring pressure here on 3rd down, and you expect to see a blitz.
Here they come. 49ers pick it up, and that is incomplete. With Jennings the target, and Amik Robertson in coverage. As the Lions get a stop.
Pretty good route here by Juwan Jennings. He creates a little separation there, but the ball had to be out on the boundary for him to have a chance because Amik Robertson's not in bad coverage, and he's able to make up the ground, and with the ball behind him, it falls incomplete.
Dan Campbell was there along the sideline to catch him. Good play by Robertson, and now a 58-yard try by Jake Moody. He missed it.
Yes.
He's missed from 51. He's missed from 58. And the Lions will take over. Good snap, good hold. Kick pulled just a bit. Lions still up 3.
Every day, our world gets a little more connected, but a little further apart. But there are moments that remind us to be more human.
Thank you for calling Amica.
I was just in an accident.
Are you okay?
Nope.
Tonight for these two quarterbacks. 272, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions for Goff. 306, 3 and 1 for Purdy. A couple of missed field goals by Moody. I think his confidence is sinking by the minute. Third round pick from Michigan.
It's a tough deal, and Joe, you remember we talked to Kyle about it, and he says he doesn't even know what to say to kickers. You know, he just doesn't, just make it. That's kind of what. That's all he knows to say.
Here is Gibbs spinning, going the other way. Gets a little bit of a block from Goff. And at least Gibbs turns that into a positive play of a 3-yard pickup.
Right idea by Jared Goff, and then he took a little bit more of a hit than I'd want to see if I was Dan Campbell. He gets that one, and then right there, I guess it wasn't quite as bad as it looked. He goes to the ground. The defense and the injuries, and I'm sure people at home are just tired of hearing about it, but the last thing you want to see is your quarterback then rolled up.
Handoff to Gibbs. Able to get it to the 45. Let's go down to Lisa.
Yeah, Joe, Detroit Lions kicker Jake Bates over here on the sidelines. He looks like he's okay now, and he hasn't gotten any treatment from the medical staff, but he was on his left hip. He had a softball. You've probably done that at home when you've had like a knot in your body somewhere. That's what it looked like he was doing.
Okay,
I asked him how he was doing. He said he was fine.
That explains the video we just showed. He's laying on something. They're down in 3. Goff for Laporta, incomplete, 4th down. Well, I mean, kicking, all these guys. I know you say people, and it looks like the Lions are going to go for it on 4th down and 3. They're tired of hearing about injuries and getting out of here healthy, but Lions fans aren't. They've been hearing about it from the beginning of the season, and if you're a Lions fan and it all comes down to next week, in that home game against Minnesota, you're holding your breath every time somebody gets hit, whether it's Gibbs, Goff, or your kicker, Jake Bates. 4th down and 3. Laporta wide open. First down on another 4th down conversion. 19 yards to convert.
Just a blown coverage there by San Francisco. You get 2 defenders. You got Fred Warner and Mustafa that are going to go with the guy in motion, and it totally leaves Laporta then uncovered for a pretty easy completion on 4th down.
Dan Skipper comes in, extra offensive lineman.
Uncle Patrick Taylor.
Goff talking to Taylor Decker, his left tackle, as the handoff is to Reynolds. Bosa made that stop, a gain of 2. Yards about even, scores about even. 31-28. Detroit on top with the ball. 2nd and 8. Single. This is incomplete for Williams. That was a forward pass, incomplete. 3rd and 8.
Yeah, they bring in Dan Skipper. He's the most famous 6th offensive lineman in the NFL. But then, so they show that they're going to, run the football, and then they go play action off of it. This would have been interesting if Goff had been able to get a little bit of throw, one-on-one then with the rookie. Who would have won that? We might have seen that 4-1 speed. 3rd and 8.
Williams fell back. 4th and 8. And the field goal unit. Jake Bates will come out to attempt the field goal.
Yeah, Jameson Williams, he just slipped. Not sure he was going to get very far anyway. Well, we'll see if that, whatever he was rolling on, paid dividends for him.
42-yard drive. Hit from 57 in the first half.
Need the field goal.
He got it. No problem. Possessions, 4 scores this half for Detroit. Went from this moment of zen. This looks amazing. To this.
And over the years,
football playoff continues with the quarterfinals on ESPN. New Year's Eve, Penn State squares off against Boise State. The Fiesta Bowl at 7:30 Eastern. New Year's Day, Texas takes on Arizona State Peach Bowl. Then Ohio State and Oregon in the Rose Bowl. And we cap the night with Notre Dame and Georgia in the Sugar Bowl. Bates 2 for 2, kicking field goals tonight. And he will kick it back to the 49ers, who now trail by 6. Time now for our clutch plays, brought to you by Bud Light.
So you take a look at some of these plays that Jared Goff has had, and some of the tight coverage, and yet he's been able to fit them in there and really come up with some nice plays. Here on 4th and goal, just a blown coverage by San Francisco, getting the ball to Amon-Ra St. Brown. But it seems like these guys, Jared Goff, all of them really are accustomed to being put in those positions because of the fact that they are so aggressive, and more times than not, they tend to deliver.
Murray has to pull it down. Plays made by Miles Adams. He gets his first sack of the year and a loss of 5. First guy through is Jalen Reeves-Maybin, who came back off IR, activated after a neck injury, and it's Adams who gets the sack. Second career sack for Miles, his 3rd year in the NFL.
Go, go!
Kick! In a hurry.
Timeout.
Is taken on the sideline, I believe.
Delay of game, offense, number 13. 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
No delay of game.
The clock had just gone to 0. They didn't call a little quicker than normal, I agree.
Yeah, so that'll cost him 5. We need to talk about Brock Purdy. With the 49ers sitting at 6 and 9, they're on offense here. They're down by 6. Mr. Irrelevant, all that stuff is tired and has been talked about forever. The guy has been phenomenal. He took the 49ers to the Super Bowl last year. There's a throw to the sideline. There's Pearsall. We got him to the champ game 2 years ago, hurt his elbow in that game against the Eagles. There's not a huge body of work this year. He's been okay, not what we've seen in the past. There have been so many injuries around him, hard to evaluate, but he is due an extension, or at least eligible for one. And there's some uncertainty with that, because that's big dollars.
Big dollars, what might it look like? What are Brock Purdy's expectations? There's a lot, and it's going to be a tough decision for them to make, for sure.
There's Pearsall, who's having a breakout night. And that converts that 3rd and 5 into a first down. So, the decision is upcoming. He is extension eligible. They can ride it out. You've got names out there. One of them is Kirk Cousins, who has lost his position right now to Michael Penix Jr. with the Atlanta Falcons. Darnold is on that 1-year deal. There's some intrigue here with the quarterback position.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it, my guess is it has to be weighing on Brock Purdy as well, knowing how this season unfolded for him and his team.
Here's Kittle. Catch is made down inside the 30. Flag is down on the far side of the field, 48. Sean Hockley will sort it out. The official who threw it.
Ineligible receiver down.
Yes.
Offense number 62. It's a 5-yard penalty. Replay. First down.
That is Austin Pleasance, who has been rotating with Charlie Heck at left tackle. Welcome me back inside the broadcast booth. If it is a small body of work, the body of work that you are judging Brock Purdy on is pretty doggone good.
It's really good, and I think everyone knows I'm a big Brock Purdy fan, and you say, well, he's got good players around him, he's a product of the system, and all those things help. They help with any quarterback. I mean, you can look around the league and say guys benefit from having really good players around them and the scheme. And so, but there are only a small group of quarterbacks.
Here's Jennings. First and 15, he gets 5.
That can lose the players that this offense has. They got more penalties.
After the play, after the catch by Jennings, and then the flag flew, was something that was done. See if it was Brian Branch.
After the play was over, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defense number 32, the 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Yeah, and it was right in front of the bench there, right in front of Dan Campbell, and the disgust on his face says it all. That this is what he was talking about. He talked to Lisa coming out at halftime about these are the things that don't take talent that we got to clean up, we got to be better at, we got to be disciplined, we got to give effort, we got to be focused, you know, and that's those type penalties are inexcusable, quite honestly.
Great action from Purdy.
Kicked off again. Yes.
His second tonight, his 9th of the year. And that promising drive, as Brian Branch hears it from his defensive coordinator, Aaron Glenn. Drive comes to a screeching halt on the second pick of the night by Kirby Joseph.
Is what they call it. The corner here is going to go to safety. This corner is going to go to safety. You get flat support here, and it frees up Joseph to be able to jump anything that he wants in the middle of the field where he has no real responsibility, and he reads it the entire way. You keep an eye on him. Here's where the ball is going to be thrown, is to Pearsall, and he just jumps it. It's really a good design, a good call then by Aaron Glenn, and this guy has just been an absolute ball hawk this year.
9 interceptions for Joseph, the most by a Lion in over 40 years. As a very patient run by Gibbs picks up 8.
You know, when you look at this defense, we've talked about, you know, kind of how they've given up some yards or they've done this or that, but situationally, you know, they're pretty good. They've been excellent this year on third downs. They're best in the NFL. Scoring defense has been good overall, and the other big thing defensively is they've been able to come away with takeaways. So that's really what Aaron Glenn is relying on, their ability to take away the football, which they've done tonight, and then hopefully they can continue to get off the field when they get teams to third down.
There's a first down for Gibbs. This was a defense for Aaron Glenn that had at least one interception in each of their first 10 games, but had gone 5 games without one, and now they have 2 tonight. Been the saving grace, as you say, for this Lions defense tonight. It's given up a lot of yards, but taking the ball away twice.
Yeah, it is what, you know, especially at the safety position, as good as they've been. And I think Aaron Glenn, you know, I think he does a good job of putting those players in a position to make those kind of plays. Good run here by Reynolds.
There's a night for Kirby Joseph, who has 6 tackles, by the way, to go along with his 2 interceptions.
Yeah, when you roam in the middle of the field the way Kirby Joseph does, then you just got to be precise with the football and certainly know where he is. And sometimes that's the Merton Hanks stance there. I know that one. We would play San Francisco, and he got a few on me, and that was his move. So I recognize that one.
A little flashback.
Yeah.
2nd and 6. And he was able to find Jamison Williams, who's had a nice night. Williams now with 5 catches, 77 yards, and a touchdown. And he's been good on the ground as well.
Joe, you've known Jared a long time. I know you guys are good friends and see each other in the offseason. And, you know, in visiting with him this week, and we've covered a lot of his games, he just, you know, he's always been confident. He's always, you know, believed in himself and the teams that he's been in. But, man, he's just in such a zone. He certainly likes everything about the situation that he's in. Why wouldn't he?
Well, he's got a brilliant offensive coordinator, and then that brings up the question that you asked him, which is, have you given any thought to what would be next if Ben were to leave? Ben Johnson, his offensive coordinator now for the last 3 years. You see where he is with touchdown passes in a single season. He's climbing that ladder. He's only 5 behind Matthew Stafford's franchise record, and spreading the ball around. He's confident. He's having fun. He loves being in Detroit, and they love him.
Yeah, you knew, and it's what Matthew Stafford wanted to be a part of, and he took the team to a couple playoffs. And
here's Laporta. 3rd down coming up.
They didn't have the success that they've been able to have here, you know, last year, of course, winning playoff games, but you always knew that this was that franchise that whenever they did start to win, it was going to be an awful lot of fun to be a part of, because those Lions fans have been suffering for a long time, and for any organization, when you finally get things going and the fans have something to cheer about. Remember last year when we were there, the only time we've been to Ford Field was on Thanksgiving every other year, and by then they were out of the postseason conversation. And last year when we went to Detroit, that stadium was electric. I mean, it was something to be a part of.
Here's Cam, gets the edge, gets the first down, and the touchdown.
Touchdown, yes.
And if that's it for this offense here tonight, with the extra point to come, from where we sit, they're knocking on the door of their 14th win of the year, and it looks like they've been able to weather any injury issues here tonight. And boy, they came in saying we're going full throttle tonight, even with nothing on the line, and they have gone full throttle.
Yeah, it's totally a mindset, and like I said,
extra point is no good. That's just the second
No, but it doesn't matter. We still did.
But tell you, on that last play, Tim Patrick, he's done it a couple times tonight where he's been the guy out in front, kind of springing the runner. The get him in the end zone, and he does again here on this touchdown run by Gibbs.
You said it when we had them in week 4. I don't know how anybody couldn't be a fan of Tim Patrick. The guy who tore his ACL, missed 2022, came back, tore his Achilles, missed 2023. And he was described by Ben Johnson as one of their glue guys right now, just keeping this thing together. And he's doing the dirty work. He's blocking downfield. He's come up with some big catches. But he's a veteran in his 5th year, at the age of 30 now. And he's a valuable part of this offense they picked up just before the season.
Yeah, he's a big receiver. He was never a blazer, so the injuries, as hard as those would be to come off of with the torn ACL and a torn Achilles, it hasn't derailed his career. And he's given them a little something that they don't have with Amon-Ra St. Brown and even Jameson Williams to a certain extent, just a big-bodied receiver that can, body people up, especially down in the red zone. He's been a really good addition. He's fit in well.
Debo will give it a go. Boy, did she get hit. I don't know if the ball came out or not. No, it did. But it is picked up by the 49ers, and going down the field, they're throwing it dead back at the 26. Is Tatum Bethune. Thinks he's got a touchdown. The fans do. The officials all stayed at the other end of the field. Now one is down there as Ezekiel Turner and Anthony Pittman combined on the hit. There's the ball out clearly.
They're not down by contact. Looks like as Tatum pulls the ball out of there, a foot is on his leg, which would make him down.
Early on the field is a fumble recovered by San Francisco. It's first down. He's down by contact upon recovery.
And so Dan Campbell and his sideline can breathe a sigh of relief. The ball is out. Nobody's got it yet. And Tatum, who was activated today off IR, was touched down. It looked like
if he had the ball at the time, that's the question. He definitely was laying on a leg, but I'm not sure he had possession of the ball.
Yeah, Troy, it looks like he has possession of the ball right when number 11's leg is still under him. He's coming up with it. I like down by contact.
I thought you might.
Here's Kittle, he gets a hit and is able to hang on as Melifonwu, who is getting back into game shape and game action, comes up to make the stop, a gain of 7. And we are coming up on 2.5 minutes left in a 12-point game. Forced out by Arnold, the rookie, who was sick during the week, but able to answer the bell, a gain of 12, with 2.5 to go. 49ers have put up 422 yards of offense on this Lions defense. Aaron Glenn, 3-time Pro Bowl corner himself when he was a player, really good player. Seen his defense and Kirby Joseph come up with 2 picks. Pressure on Purdy, able to get out and throw it out of bounds downfield for Jennings. Pascal had pressure. Well, as we look at the playoff picture, you see Minnesota on top for the moment. Detroit already beat Minnesota earlier in the year, and the two teams meet in the final game of the regular season next Sunday night in Detroit. And that will be a battle for the division, and the loser of that game will be a 14-win wild card, number 5 seed. Amazing. 2nd and 10 now as Jennings makes the catch. Arnold and Campbell combine on the stop. will take us to the 2-minute warning, it would appear. And that's where we are. 2 minutes to go. 3rd down and 2 when we...
That'll take us to the 2-minute warning.
Coming up on the post-game show presented by Nationwide. We'll visit with Joe and Troy on the key moments of this game. We'll hear from Dan Campbell, Kyle Shanahan as well, and break down what's in play week 18 in terms of playoff significance. What a second half, gentlemen, for the boys in Honolulu Blue, huh?
Well, it's been something to watch, this offense. If you take away one play, the kneel down before the half, the only time the Lions didn't score was when they were stopped on downs at the 49ers' 8-yard line. I mean, they have been going up and down the field, as have the 49ers, except Purdy has thrown 2 interceptions for the only couple of turnovers in the game.
Yeah, I mean, both offenses, but especially Detroit, they've been an absolute machine.
I really like what Pearsall's showing tonight. This is a bit of a breakout game for him, their first-round pick. Somebody who was shot before the start of the regular season, and he's really coming on.
Yeah, he has.
Yes.
That's his first of the year.
Timeout taken.
Well, the Lions do a really good job of disguising it because they usually would then bring this guy down, but instead he stays over the top. And so there wasn't the indicator to Purdy that they were bringing Branch. Now you'd like to kind of check it, but usually the rotation in the back end will give that away. But they hold it, they don't show it, and it's another reason why when I talked about Brian Branch liking him in the slot position, the ability to blitz like that, get involved in the run game. He's a physical player, so that's good.
And what's bad is Purdy is on the bench and looking like he's backing up. And may come out of this game with Joshua Dobbs coming in to play quarterback.
Looks like they're checking his grip.
Looking at the right wrist of Purdy. Dobbs takes over. And now the Lions fans are having all the fun. Dobbs fires and completes. Jennings is short of first down yardage.
Another timeout is
Nice
taken.
throw by Joshua Dobbs right off the bench as Purdy is trying to, doesn't even look like he can
even tried. Back in this game.
Yeah, he tossed 2 balls lightly and said he couldn't do it.
Anguished look on his face. It looked like
Previous play is under further review.
It looked like the receiver, Jennings, was down inbounds. Here's the hit on Purdy. This is the most important piece of this.
After further review, the runner improved inbound. The game clock should be reset to 1:39. We'll check with San Francisco to see if they want to use a timeout to avoid the 10-second runoff. Correction, the clock should be at 1:29.
Yeah, it's up to Kyle Shanahan whether he wants a 10-second runoff to happen or use a timeout. Meanwhile, the hit on Purdy, you know, it was a hard hit.
I didn't see where his hand got affected.
San Francisco has chosen to accept the 10-second runoff. The game clock should be set at 1:29. We'll start on my signal.
There was a face mask on that.
They were initially checking the right wrist on the sideline, or the right arm, and got it at the end of that sack by Branch.
Approximately 1:19. My mistake.
Truth from Sean Hockey. They're now at 1:19. 2 timeouts remaining for San Francisco. 3rd down and 2. And Kyle Shanahan wants further clarification from Hockey. First down, 2 good throws from Joshua Dobbs. His first 2 throws of the year.
Yeah, to Juwan Jennings. Pretty good guy to go to.
Pressure from behind, and now a completion to Kittle to set up a 1st and goal. With the ball sitting at the 7.
Another timeout ball by Kyle
With under a minute
Shanahan.
to go, and now 1 timeout remaining. The 49ers have a 1st down and goal. Monday night post-game presented by Nationwide is coming up after our game on ESPN.
We'll see if Joshua Dobbs is able to make this interesting.
With this injury happening as late as it happened, we will try to get some word on what the exact injury is with Purdy or what they were looking at before we go off the air. Purdy with 377 pass yards in this game. On 1st and goal, that is thrown out of bounds.
And he's targeted Juwan Jennings once again. Those 2 were teammates in college at Tennessee, so he steps in and reconnecting with him.
Just one other note on Brock Purdy, the 377 of the pass yards is a new career high for him tonight, but that look on his face. 3 touchdowns, he ran for 1, and 2 interceptions. Here's Dobbs taking off, and he is in for a touchdown. With 43 seconds to go, and an onside kick to follow, as Dobbs is able to cross the goal line with an impressive little bit of work here off the bench for Brock Purdy.
Yeah, good job. We've seen him over the years in different places come in, and it seems like wherever he's been, he's done a pretty good job. Does a good job here tonight on this drive, coming in off the bench without any notice and leading him to the touchdown.
No good, yes.
His 2 field goals and now his first extra point of the season. This stays a 6-point game.
Yeah, you feel for this young guy. It's been a tough year, and it's been an especially rough night.
This from 51-58, now an extra point.
Now the onside kick.
Kyle Shanahan asked during the week about Moody. Missed a 41-yard try last week at Miami, and Shanahan said, I believe we've got the right guy, but it might be a different story. You and I were talking during the break that if this was a 49er team that was headed for the postseason, it might be a different story for Jake Moody.
Yeah, I think it would have to be, quite honestly. Just, if a guy's struggling, and it's like you don't have backup kickers, on the roster, so you don't just get to bring a guy in for 1 kick, 2 kicks in a game, whatever it might be. You got to make these hard decisions.
The onside kick is just blasted straight out of bounds by Moody. The NFL is now 3 for 48 on onside kick tries. There's Kirby Joseph with the Merton Hanks, and there is Merton Hanks, who picked you off twice.
It felt like it was more than that.
Week 11, 1994, in a 21-14 49ers win over your Cowboys.
I used to hate when he did that after he intercepted me. And, then Merton went to work. I didn't really know him that well when we were competing against each other. Then he went to work for the NFL, and I got to know him well. We'd run into him at games.